3 days remain on the cosmic odometer, 3 sunrises yet to crest the horizon, before you stand at the threshold of supreme authority. In this sacred interval, the universe itself seems to hold its breath, as if awaiting the resonant echo of your ascent. Day 3 dawns with the first tremors of awakening, a silent drumbeat thrumming beneath the earth, signaling that hidden forces have begun to stir in alignment with your destiny. The winds whisper secrets of strategy into your ear, weaving tapestries of foresight and daring across the sky. You feel the stirrings of power, ineffable and electric, coursing through your veins like molten silver, preparing you to don the mantle of leadership. When the second dawn breaks, day 2, the heavens open in a symphony of light. Celestial choirs hail your coming, their harmonies weaving a coronation anthem that reverberates through every heartbeat. Authority coalesces around you as if drawn by an invisible magnet, forging a crown of responsibility atop your brow. The air crackles with transformative potential, the old order quivers, ancient barriers shatter, and your vision rises like a phoenix from the ashes of complacency. In this pivotal moment, you stand upon the precipice of revolution, holding aloft the scepter of breakthrough. Your voice, tempered by conviction, becomes the clarion call that draws the masses toward a new dawn, a dawn you will command. On day 1, the final dawn before your inauguration, creation itself bows in reverence. Every star, every grain of sand vibrates with the promise of your reign. The threshold beckons. Here, past and future converge, and you become the living fulcrum upon which the world pivots. All hesitations fall away, leaving only the ironclad resolve that has carried you through trials and triumphs alike. The landscape of possibility stretches before you like a vast canvas, awaiting the brushstrokes of your will. In this hallowed hour, your emergence transcends mere politics. It is a metamorphosis of spirit, a divine elevation that reshapes the fate of nations. And so, heed the countdown, embrace the portent etched in time's relentless march. 3 days, 3 opportunities to attune your soul to the echoes of destiny. For when the final sands slip through the hourglass, you will stand upon the steps of power, no longer a supplicant but a sovereign, anointed by purpose, crowned by the collective hope of humanity. The world awaits your command. Day 1. The room is watching you on this, the last dawn before your coronation. The chamber itself becomes a living witness to your destiny. Each beam of morning light that filters through the towering windows transforms into an ethereal spotlight, illuminating the path you are about to walk. The walls, lined with ancestral tapestries and silent sentinels of stone, lean ever closer, their centuries-old gazes following your every breath, as if they cannot bear to miss a single moment of your ascent. The air is charged with expectancy. Every mote of dust suspended in the golden rays carries the weight of untold stories waiting to be stirred by your presence. The polished floor mirrors your reflection, fracturing it into shards of possibility. Here is the visionary. Here is the architect of change. Here is the bearer of tomorrow's promise. Yet as you step forward, the reflection shifts, no longer a mere image, but an oracle beckoning you toward the threshold between mortal uncertainty and divine authority. With each footfall, the hush deepens. The room listens. The grand chandelier above you sways imperceptibly, as though stirred by a breeze from another realm, its crystals chiming in a secret symphony. You feel their resonance in your bones, a clarion call echoing the promise that this moment and this place are irrevocably bound to your destiny. The audience of silent witnesses, portraits of past leaders, gilded busts, and silent columns, owes its attention entirely to you now. In their stillness, you hear the rhythmic pulse of history itself, pausing to take stock before the next great turning. Here, on this hallowed stage of hushed anticipation, the weight of legacy and the glow of possibility converge. The door that stands before you is more than an entryway. It is a portal through which you will cross from potential into power. Its carved panels, etched with the symbols of triumph and trial, beckon you to lay aside all hesitation. Beyond it lies the world that has yearned for your vision, the world that watches with bated breath, waiting for your words to reverberate, your convictions to set ablaze the dormant embers of hope. Feel the gravity of this moment. The room is alive, a sentient witness to the grandeur of your becoming. Every shadow clings to your silhouette, every light crowns you in anticipation. Here, at the precipice, you are no longer simply present. You are the axis upon which history will turn. Embrace the scrutiny of the silent chamber, for within its watchful walls lies the affirmation of your authority and the herald of your reign. Step through the door and claim the mantle prepared for you. The room will remember this instant for all eternity. Your signature is already in the system, a silent covenant etched into the machinery of destiny. Long before your hand touched pen to paper, the cosmic ledger anticipated your ascent, reserving a place for your indelible mark. The bureaucracy of fate has pre-registered your command, the gears of governance greased and poised to obey the rhythm of your will. In this realm beyond mortal contract, your ascent has been given in advance, your authority pre-approved by forces unseen. Every file, every dossier, every encrypted archive whispers of your appointment. The digital vaults hum in readiness, their circuits alive with the electric pulse of your inevitability. Clerks of cosmic protocol have keyed in your credentials, the alphanumeric code that binds power to promise, signature to sovereignty. Each algorithm has been calibrated to recognize the moment your mandate ignites the system, unleashing a cascade of permissions and prerogatives that cascade through corridors of influence like lightning through storm clouds. You stand upon the threshold of activation. In the hushed glow of countless monitors and the quiet whir of servers in clandestine data centers, your name appears in the ledger of authority, set in luminous characters against a backdrop of dark potential. It is there, awaiting only the final confirmation pulse, the soft click of ascent that will pulse through fiber optic arteries, illuminating every node in the network of control. In that instant, the locks will disengage, the gates will swing open, and the silent guardians of policy will salute your arrival. But this is no mere administrative formality. It is the overture to transformation. For when your signature courses through the system, it carries with it the weight of expectation and the momentum of change. Old edicts will bow before your decree. Entrenched hierarchies will realign along the vectors you carve. The system, once inert and indifferent, will spring to life, animated by the trajectory you have inscribed. In this digital crucible, your vision will manifest as code and protocol, as lines of authority that rewrite the architecture of power itself. Feel the inevitability of this preordained moment. Your signature, though not yet inked in the ledger of the living, has already reverberated through the unseen infrastructure of governance. It awaits only your final affirmation, a gesture so simple yet so profound that it will resonate through every chamber of command. Embrace the gravity of this silent covenant. The system is primed. The vector of change has been plotted. When you press enter on the threshold of ascendancy, the machinery of fate will whir into motion, and the world will awaken to the reality you have long foreseen. The throne was kept empty. For you, long before your first footfall echoed across these marble floors, the throne stood unoccupied, a silent sentinel carved from ivory and gold, its seat warmed by the promise of your coming. In the hushed expanse of the grand hall, its emptiness was not absence but invitation, a void waiting to be filled by the embodiment of vision and valor. Each intricate filigree of its armrests, each gem encrusted in its lofty crest, held silent testimony to the covenant between destiny and duty, preserved in patient expectation of your arrival. The tapestries that line these vaulted walls depict generations of rulers whose reigns rose and fell like tides against the shore of history. Yet through every shifting epoch, the throne remained conspicuously vacant, a testament to the world's anticipation of a leader unlike any who had come before. In its empty embrace, you could trace the silhouettes of those who nearly claimed it, heroes who faltered at the threshold, sovereigns whose vision dimmed under the weight of compromise. But their failures only deepened the gilded hollows, refining the vessel into a perfect receptacle for one who would break the cycle. By candlelight, the throne's reflection shimmers on the polished floor, a phantom double that beckons you forward. It murmurs of legacy unbroken, of edicts yet unwritten, of laws that will bend and bow beneath the authority of your conviction. The air around it trembles with latent possibility, as though the very atmosphere conspires to uplift you. to place upon your brow the crown etched with the ancient symbols of justice and renewal. In this moment, even before you take your seat, the mechanics of power click into alignment, gear by gear, preparing to obey the command of your will. Feel the gravity of this vacancy. It is more than carved stone and woven silk. It is the world's collective breath held in suspension, poised to exhale at the instant you claim what has always been yours. The hush in the hall is not silence but reverence, an acknowledgement that the pageant of leadership awaits its true author. When you stride forward, every eye will follow the arc of your ascent. Every heart will quicken at the touch of your hand upon the armrest. And as you lower yourself, the throne will cease to be empty, becoming instead the vessel through which your spirit shapes the fate of nations. The throne was kept empty for you. Now step into its embrace and let the ancient wood feel the warmth of a ruler reborn. You were never the runner-up. Long before the world whispered your name in hushed tones of conjecture and debate, the fabric of fate wove you into its tapestry as its foremost thread. From the first spark of ambition kindling in your heart, there was never a shadow of doubt that you would stand alone at the pinnacle, no finish line where you paused, breathless and outpaced. Every challenge you faced, every rival you encountered, existed merely to sharpen your resolve, to confirm what the cosmos already knew. You were destined to lead, not trail. In the arena of destiny, medals for second place gathered dust in the cabinets of the complacent, but your spirit never reached for those tokens. Your eyes were fixed on the summit from the moment you dared to climb. While others measured their worth against one another, you measured yours against the impossible, vaulting over the barriers that hemmed in lesser aspirations. Each struggle was not a contest to be endured, but a crucible in which your metal was forged, leaving behind the brittle remains of what could have been almost. Feel the quiet resonance of victory that has always echoed within you, even when laurels were yet to be bestowed. You carried in your sinews a power untouched by the fleeting applause of the crowd, an inner anthem that sang of authority and inevitability. In the secret chambers of your mind, you rehearsed the steps to the throne, each movement precise, each intention clear. There was no room in your choreography for a second place, for a slower rhythm. Your destiny demanded a solo performance on the grandest stage. Now, as the final moments rush toward culmination, the world teeters on the edge of your arrival. Those who once doubted stand in wonder, but their astonishment arrives too late. The blueprint of triumph was etched in your bones. The gaps between contenders dissolve in the glare of your ascendant light, and what remains is a single figure framed against the horizon, unyielding, unapologetic, unrivaled. Let this truth settle in your bones. You were never the runner-up. There was never a contest that defined you. There was only the inexorable rise of one who carries destiny in their very breath. Embrace the realization that every victory yet to come flows from the certainty of your primacy. Walk forward now, unburdened by the relics of competition, and claim the place that has always been yours alone. Even in silence, you were being voted. In long before a single voice rose to acclaim you, the chambers of power had already convened in hushed consensus. In the space between heartbeats, invisible hands pressed the levers of destiny on your behalf, casting ballots in the quiet sanctuaries of thought and intention. No clamor of debate was needed. Your reputation alone carried the weight of inevitability, a gravity so profound that even silence became your ally, echoing with the unspoken assent of countless souls. Within the silent vaults of policy and protocol, your name rippled through layers of confidentiality like a secret prayer woven into the fabric of governance. The archivists of authority, steeped in discretion, inked your credentials onto parchments that no outsider would ever see. Each page, though unseen, bore witness. Signatures of approval flowed across lines you never signed yourself. In whispered corridors, the custodians of decision paused in their work, their pens lingering in midair as if suspended by some prescient instinct. They felt the tide of change swell, and in that pregnant stillness they placed their trust in you. Even the statues, the silent sentinels of past consensus, seemed to lean forward ever so slightly, as though inclining their stony heads in quiet tribute. Their marble lips held no words, yet their unblinking gaze conveyed a message more potent than any orator's speech. You have been chosen. And the rafters, heavy with the weight of history, absorbed this unvoiced declaration, resonating with the truth that your leadership was already sealed long before any proclamation was made. Now the final moment approaches, when whispered votes will crystallize into a chorus of acknowledgement. But know this, the true verdict has already been cast in the realm beyond voice and vision. In every pause between breaths, in every unspoken conviction, you were being called forth. Embrace the power that has grown in the silence, for it is that very hush, pregnant with promise and purpose, that has prepared the world to stand with you. When you at last speak your name, it will not be met with question, but with the thunderous affirmation of all who have, in silent unity, already pronounced you their chosen leader. You're not becoming powerful. You always were from the very first spark of consciousness. You carried within you a force as ancient and unyielding as the core of the earth. Power was never an acquisition. It was the silent birthright of your spirit, woven into the fabric of your being before the world learned your name. Every breath you've taken, every heartbeat that thrummed in your chest has been a quiet testament to the sovereign energy that courses through your veins. You are not climbing a ladder to power. You have always stood at its summit, your feet planted silently atop the peaks of possibility. Recall the moments when doubt crept in, whispering that you lacked the strength to shape your destiny. Those were but fleeting shadows cast by fear. They could never eclipse the luminescence of your innate authority. In every trial you faced, you did not grasp for power as one might clutch a borrowed talisman. You simply remembered who you fundamentally were. Your victories were never gifts bestowed upon you. They were the natural unfolding of your essence, rippling outward until the world could no longer ignore their force. In the stillness of dawn, when the world lies hushed and expectation lingers in the air like a held breath, your power reveals itself not in thunderous declarations, but in the simple act of being. Trees bend toward you as if summoned by an unspoken command. The light of sunrise frames your silhouette in a halo of inevitability. Even the tide, obedient to the moon's pull, seems to acknowledge the gravitational pull of your presence. Such is the quiet majesty of someone who has never needed to become powerful, because power was the soil from which they sprouted. Now, as the moment of your ascension crystallizes on the horizon, understand that no transformation is required. There is no anointing more righteous than the one you carry inherently in every gesture, every glance, every thought. To lead is not to claim what you lack, but to reveal what you have always embodied. When you step forward, the world will not confer upon you a new might. It will simply recognize the magnetism you have always radiated. Stand tall in the full awareness of who you are, a force of nature, a living conduit of purpose and possibility. Feel the unbroken thread of power that has run through every fiber of your existence, unbound and unbowed. You are not a traveler approaching the gates of potency. You are the gatekeeper of a realm where your influence has long reigned supreme. Embrace the truth of your eternal sovereignty, and let the world catch up to the brilliance you've always been. Your enemies will have front-row seats. From the moment you step onto the stage of destiny, your adversaries will be seated in the front row, eyes wide with both dread and fascination, their jealousy a living audience to your triumph. They will lean forward in the hush before your first word, as if hoping to catch a whisper of doubt, a falter in your measured stride. Instead, they will witness the steely calm in your posture, the quiet conviction that ripples through the air like an electric current, illuminating every corner of the arena they once believed you would stumble within. They thought they had penned the script of your downfall, distributing the roles of victor and vanquished long before you ever entered the fray. Yet now, in their prime seats of scrutiny, they will see how you have rewritten fate's narrative with each breath you drew in defiance of their schemes. When the lights rise, they will watch the tapestry of your vision unfurl. Plans that once lay dormant now spring to life, bold initiatives ignited under your command, barriers that bore the weight of 1,000 objections, shattering like glass at your touch. As the chapters of your ascent unfold, your enemies will do more than observe. They will chronicle every moment, their eyes reflecting back the brilliance they tried to contain. The very energy they invested in undermining you will instead amplify your resonance, feeding a momentum that no conspiracy can derail. They will note the cadence of your victories, the hush of the boardroom turning to murmurs of assent, the silent nods of former skeptics, the crescendo of support swelling until it drowns out their own whispers of dissent. And when the final curtain falls, when you stand at the pinnacle they never believed you'd reach, those front-row seats will bear witness to the ultimate irony, that in attempting to watch you fail, they became the first to applaud your rise. Their envy, once a weapon cast at your feet, will transform into the very pedestal on which you stand. So let them watch. Let their gaze be your audience, their expectations the fuel for your glory. For nothing is more exquisite than victory unveiled before the eyes of those who once prayed for your ruin, and nothing more certain than the knowledge that, in the end, you will have given them the spectacle of a lifetime. You're being prepared for the crown. Long before the golden circlet settles upon your brow, unseen hands are guiding you through rites both subtle and profound, rituals of mind, body, and spirit that prime every fiber of your being to bear the weight of sovereignty. In the hush before dawn, your dreams are woven into visions of leadership, each slumber a silent seminar in strategy, where insights bloom like nocturnal flowers and the architecture of your reign takes shape behind closed eyelids. As you stir awake, the residue of those midnight lessons clings to your thoughts, a whispering echo that urges you onward. Your training unfolds in myriad forms. In the crucible of challenge you learn resilience, steel forged in flames of adversity. When obstacles rise like walls of granite, you do not retreat. Instead, you study their seams, decipher their weaknesses, and pivot with the grace of one who knows that every barrier is but a puzzle awaiting its key. These trials are your tutors, and with each triumph you accumulate not just victory but the quiet confidence that comes from mastering uncertainty itself. Yet preparation extends beyond conquest. You are schooled in empathy and wisdom, in the art of listening to the murmurings of the people you will serve, the sorrow in their voices, the tremor of hope in their cries. Each nuance becomes a note in the symphony of governance that you must conduct. You attend the unspoken assemblies of compassion, the hush between a mother's prayer and her child's breath, the ache of forsaken towns yearning for renewal, the subtle shift in the air when hearts stir toward belief. In these silent sessions, your heart learns to beat in rhythm with the masses, granting you the authority that springs from genuine connection. In the sanctum of solitude, you cultivate vision. Here, in the stillness of your own presence, you are confronted by your deepest self, your fears, your doubts, your unspoken dreams. You wrestle with them until each shadow yields its lesson. Fear teach you caution, doubt kindle humility, and dream ignite possibility. Out of this inner forge emerges clarity, a map of intention that will guide your hand when the moment arrives to claim the crown. Finally, your spirit is anointed in anticipation. The very air around you seems to shimmer with expectation, as though the elements themselves prepare to bear witness. Winds whisper blessings in your ear, and sunbeams halo your silhouette in fleeting coronets of light. Every step you take echoes on corridors you have yet to walk. Every breath syncs with the drumbeat of destiny. Know this: you are not stumbling toward greatness by chance. You are being prepared, molded by circumstance, schooled by the silent ceremonies of experience, anointed by the hidden forces of fate itself. When the day comes to lift the crown, you will not be merely ready. You will be the embodiment of every lesson learned, every trial overcome, every whisper of promise fulfilled. The crown awaits the one fully tempered to wear it, and that one is you. Don't doubt the seat. You're meant to fill. In the silent prelude before destiny's overture, the chair awaits you, not as a relic of antiquated ceremony, but as a living testament to the promise woven into your very essence. Its back, carved with the sigils of hope and resilience, arches like an invitation from time itself. Here is where purpose and power converge. Though you may feel the tremor of hesitation, remember that this seat was never cast by chance or whim. It was crafted by the invisible hands of fate, attuned to the exact contours of your spirit. Each time doubt lingers at the edge of your thoughts, recall the countless trials that have shaped you, refining your resolve like rivers sculpt stone. Those moments of uncertainty were never verdicts on your capacity, but crucibles designed to temper your mettle. They whispered, "Rise," and you did, stepping beyond fear's shadow into the light of your own becoming. Now, as you stand before the chair's open arms, let the echoes of every triumph and every lesson embolden you. You are the culmination of every challenge you've overcome, and no seat could better honor that journey than the one destined to bear your weight. Feel how the space around it hums with expectation. The walls themselves lean in, eager to witness the fulfillment of prophecy. Invisible threads stretch from your core to the cushion beneath, anchoring you to a lineage of leadership that transcends mere titles. When you finally lower yourself into its embrace, the seat will not support you alone. It will magnify the strength that resides within, amplifying your intentions into action and your vision into legacy. Do not mistake this momentary pause on the threshold for a moment of weakness. It is instead the sacred breath before the first command, the pregnant silence before the world awakens to your decree. In that breath, gather the confidence that has always been yours, the knowledge that no accident brought you here, no oversight will displace you. The chair is more than a symbol. It is the framework upon which you will build realms of possibility, carve pathways through stagnation, and write edicts of renewal. So stand tall, free of the weight of doubt. Let the certainty of your purpose settle like a mantle upon your shoulders. When you finally take the seat you were meant to fill, you will not be assuming a role writ by others, but fulfilling the destiny inscribed in the very marrow of your being. And in that powerful intersection of aspiration and authority, you will find not just the comfort of belonging, but the exhilaration of becoming the leader you were born to be. The inauguration is spiritual, and it's real. Long before your foot touches the threshold of ceremony, the air itself hums with the resonance of unseen forces conjoining around your rise. This is no mere political ritual, but a sacred rite, an alchemy of intention and conviction that transmutes mortal ambition into divine mandate. In the hallowed hush before the opening procession, the boundary between earth and ether thins, souls beyond the veil lean in, eager to witness your anointing, to lend their silent chorus to the heartbeat of your inauguration. When you step beneath the banners and gaze upon the gathered multitudes, know that their voices are but one layer of the proclamation. Waves of spirit sweep across the amphitheater of your destiny, memories of ancestors who dreamed of leaders just and fearless, the prayers of children yet unborn who will inherit the world you shape, the collective yearning of every heart that has ever dared to hope. Each murmur of blessing, each pulse of expectation weaves into an invisible tapestry that cloaks you in purpose, an Empyrean mantle far weightier than any robe of office. As the ceremonial staff is entrusted to your hand, you feel the electric thrill of passage, a bridge between the temporal and the transcendent. The staff is no longer a token, but a conduit, its carved runes resonating with energies that predate empires. It channels the patience of desert sands, the inexorable flow of rivers, the silent glow of distant constellations that have guided wanderers for eons. In your grasp, it becomes a scepter of transformation, empowered to shape the arc of history in alignment with the higher truths it embodies. Listen for the subtle harmonies that swell in that moment, the wind stirring feathered banners overhead, the soft rustle of silk robes, the stillness between breaths that carries more weight than any shout. This is the spiritual inheritance of leadership, the realization that the power you wield is born of empathy as much as authority, that your words will echo not only through corridors of stone, but through the chambers of human hearts. Your inauguration is a rite of passage not just for you, but for every soul tethered to your vision, every spirit poised on the cusp of renewal. And when the final benediction is spoken, and the last note of music fades into the bright promise of a new dawn, feel the verity of what has transpired. You have stepped beyond the realm of ceremony into the sanctum of destiny. This inauguration, both ethereal and utterly real, marks the moment when your spirit and the world's need converge in perfect accord. In that convergence, leadership finds its truest form, not an office assumed, but a covenant embraced between the divine pulse of possibility and the human will to manifest it.